Hello, my name is Keshwani. It's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to improve our English. We want to improve our vocabulary. Today is our day number 45 of the lessons. The very first word that we want to talk about today is related to the word that we learned, the very last word we learned yesterday on day number 44. If I can find it. On day 44, we talked about a word pithy. What does it mean? I hope you know it, because hopefully you watched day 44 and you have learned the word on words that were on day number 44 before you come to day 45. Pithy. What does it mean? It just means a short saying, a short comment or saying that is full of meaning and impact. It has the punch, it is short, it is concise, and yet it is full of meaning and impact. Something that is something that is cogent and yet terse. And again, I'm assuming that you have watched yesterday's video, day number 44, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about this word. The only reason I'm covering it again is because it is related to the next word that I want to talk about today. Cogent, which is a word that we learned on day number 7, and terse is something that we learned on day number 16. Cogent means persuasive. Persuasive. And terse means short and concise. And then at that point I could not come up with anything pithy to say. And as I made the comment the other day, that it requires wisdom to say something pithy, which is probably why I couldn't come up with anything. Well, a good example of something pithy would be I need the room now, so we're going to move on to the words for today. A good example of something pithy would be excuse me. A proverb. A proverb, I'm not pronouncing it correctly, I know that. Proverb proverb would be a good example of something that is pithy, something that is short, concise, and yet full of meaning. It's convincing, people understand it, and so forth. It's persuasive, it's cogent. For example, let's first talk about what a proverb actually is. A proverb is a short, pithy, we learned on day 44, saying that is in common and widespread use. Something that is commonly used, something that is used very widely, very commonly in its speech. Sayings that are used uh, in a conversation to drive a point. Those are called proverbs. Proverbs express well-known truths. Truths that are commonly held to be, beliefs that are commonly held to be truths. Proverbs expresses such ideas. Commonly known, commonly accepted as truths or common wisdom. They also, Proverbs also express societies. Proverbs also express society's biases, prejudices, norms, values, and another word that we're going to learn in a second. Let me give you a simple example of proverbs. I have a few of them here. I don't know if I want to write them down or I want to just talk about them. Honesty is the best policy. They say honesty is the best policy. Well, that's a proverb. Honesty is the best policy. It's a proverb. It's short, it's concise, it's cogent, it's convincing. It is held to be true. Common expresses well-known truth. Common wisdom. They say don't cry over spilled milk. If you spill a milk, not a milk rather, if you spill some milk, there's no point crying over it. Crying over spilled milk is not going to do you any good. It's a proverb. Don't cry over spilled milk. They say haste makes waste. If you do something in a hurry, you're going to probably muck it up and you're going to have to do it again. Haste make waste. It's a proverb. Honesty is the best policy. It's a proverb. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, that's a common saying. A picture is worth 1,000 words. It's a proverb. But the thing with the proverb is that they are very customized to societies, to a society and to a language, because it expresses a given society's biases, prejudices, norms, values, and mores. We're going to learn this word in a second. That's what a proverb is. And they are pithy saying. The reason I wanted to start out with this thing because they are pithy saying. And hence, now we have an example of something pithy to say. I gave you a couple of examples. Don't cry over spilled milk. Well, what's the point? The milk is already spilled. It's not going to do you any good. Honesty is the best policy. Easy come, easy go. Something that you acquire very easily, you're going to end up squandering it very easily. And if you don't know what squander means, you should know what it means. Squander. Just give me 1 second and I'll tell you what day to find it. Hold on. Squander is the word, which means to waste, to not make good use of something. One might squander time, one might squander opportunity, one might squander money. We learned this word squander on day number 37. So if you want to learn this word in more details, just type in the tag Kashwani Prep-vocab-day 37 and you will see the word squander. How did squander come into it? The saying, the haste, easy come, easy go. What I'm trying to tell you is that easy come, easy go is a saying, it's a proverb, which simply means that something that you acquire with very little effort, you're likely to squander it just as easily, just as quickly. Easy come, easy go. They say actions speak louder than words. So people judge you by what you do, not what you say. Actions speak louder than words. That's the proverb. It expresses common wisdom, it expresses society's biases, prejudices, norms, values, and mores. Let's learn the word mores. I'm going to erase everything. We're going to learn this word. Oh boy, this is not good. I need to go over it again. Mores, that's how it's pronounced. It does not have singular, it only has plural. It does not have a singular form, and it's pronounced mores, not Morse. I've seen some people going around mispronouncing it. More is a noun and it is plural. It doesn't have singular. There are some words which are simply present in the plural form, or there are some words which are just singular, they don't have plural, or singular and plural are the same words. Similarly, mores doesn't have singular, it's just plural. It just means exactly all the things that we just said here. It just means norms. Society's norms, customs. Every society has customs, traditions, norms, values. What might be considered as norm in one society may be considered as an aberration in another one. Aberration, that is a good one. Aberration means to deviate from norm. To deviate from norm, to do something that one is not expected to do. It just means something out of the ordinary, an exception, aberration. Day number 15. Turn to day number 15 and learn the word if you have not done it already. Customs, values, traditions, values, and those are called society's mores, society's norms, society's values, customs, traditions, way of doing things, mores. That's it. Let's move on then to the next word. We're done with this particular word, and the only reason we wanted to learn this word is because it appeared in a definition. When we were talking about the word proverb, this word appeared in the definitions, because proverbs express a society are full of meanings. Proverbs are full of meanings. They are cogent, they are convincing, they are short, they are pithy, but they also express a society's biases, society's prejudices, society's traditions, norms, values, mores, whatever you want to call it. Mores. See, that's why we have to learn it. Let's move on then. The next word I want to talk about is an adage. Adage. It's a noun. An adage is a proverb. Is a maxim. Well, if a maxim is an adage and adage is a proverb, it stands to reason that a maxim is just a proverb. These are just different ways of saying the same thing. These are all synonyms. A maxim is just a saying, a proverb. the same. Let's move on then. The next word we want to talk about is, change the color so we can have a different color, is oh, I need the room, I don't want to make it too crowded. I'm going to erase it then. So adage, maxim, proverb, they all mean the same thing, they're all synonyms. Okay, that's it. I need the room. The blackboard is acting up today, I do not know why. Perhaps it has something to do with the new markers I have. It doesn't erase as well as my other marker. As my other markers did, rather. The next word we want to learn about is soul. It's a noun. Not soul as in past tense of see. I see you, I saw you, I have seen you. Not so as in past tense of see, which in that case would be a verb. What does it mean, a so, when it is a noun? A so is an old familiar saying. An old let me use a black marker, it's easy to read. What is your dilemma? Because it's easy to read, but it's difficult to erase the black marker. An old familiar saying. And so is an old familiar saying. A so is a saying, something that you say so often, it is so widely used that when you use it so often it becomes trite. It becomes trite, it becomes banal, it becomes hackneyed. Banal, 13. Trite. Again, if you do not know these words, if you have not mastered them, it is time that you go back and watch those days and learn them properly before you come all the way to day number 45. Don't go all over the places. Have a system. Systematically, every day, few words. Systematically, there has to be a regiment. There has to be a system. Did we learn regiment? There has to be a system to it. There has to be a pattern to it. There has to be a discipline to it. Don't go all over the places, all over the place. Make sure that you learn it in a systematic regimen. Day number 15. So, a so is an old familiar saying, and it's often, and it's used so often. Anything that you use so often, or anything that you have so much of, it loses its appeal, and that's what happens to souls. They lose their appeals. They lose their effectiveness. An old familiar saying that has lost some, not all obviously, some of its efficacy. Efficacy is a noun. Efficacy, which means effectiveness. Efficacy or efficacy means effectiveness. It's no longer effective because it's used so often. It loses its punch. It loses its effect because of overuse. Because of overuse. It becomes tried, as I said. It becomes tried, it becomes banal. Like honesty is the best policy. It's a bit overused. It is a soul. It's a proverb. It's a maxim. But it's lose some of its appeal because it becomes too tried, too banal, too ordinary, too cliche. Cliche is a noun which is just an overused expression that has become tried. Cliche is exactly this. All of this. It's a synonym of soul. So one more time, the words that we learned today that were synonym of each other. So I'm going to make a list of them right here. Let's put them in a different color so we can see them easily. In a blue color, perhaps. Proverb, adage, maxim, soul, and finally cliche. These are all synonyms. They all basically mean the same thing. There are some minor subtle differences or nuances, but they basically mean the same thing. And of course we learned the word mores because it appeared in definitions. Because proverbs, saws, cliches, they express society's biases, society's prejudices, society's values, norms, customs, traditions, and mores. That's what mores means: customs, traditions, norms, values. That's all we had. That's all I have for today. That was the end of our lesson for today, day number 45. Now, for those of you who've been following this thing for a while now, as I said, I've been doing it for 45 days now. I don't know how far I would go, perhaps 100 days, I don't know. But whenever we stop, if you keep up with it every day, you will see that at the end of the whole thing, you will see a marked improvement, a marked change in your level of vocabulary. If you want to improve your language, if you want to improve your English, if you want to improve your vocabulary, this is the way to do it, few words at a time. And these are also excellent words to know if you're preparing for any of these tests, GRE, GMAT, SAT or TOEFL, which is what I do. I provide private tutoring for all of these tests that you see there. And if you're preparing for any of these tests and if you need help, if you're looking for a private tutor, send me an email from any of these website addresses that you see there, and you will be able to get hold of me. Prep for GRE.com, prep for GMAT.com, prep for SAT.com, or prep for TOEFL.com. What was I saying? So that's the idea. Learn few words at a time and you will see a marked improvement. Now if you've been following this thing closely, you would know that I have a habit of giving you a quiz at the end of every 5 days. Since today is our day number 45, tomorrow we will have quiz number 9, which will cover all the words that we learned through day number 41 through day 45. Alright? Thank you.